Welcome to Indian Time. Today I want to discuss a little bit on hunting, since hunting season is here. Our place names of the show this week will be Sin-Yedlman, which we now call St. Ignatius. Sin-Yedlman comes from the word that is a place that was surrounded, and the stories that the elders tell was that prior to anybody living in the St. Ignatius areas, the Pend Oreille lived along the river between what is now Ravala and Dixon, and that stretch of areas where most of the people were living. And there was a hunting party that came over the hill from Ravala, and as they came down hunting towards the southwest of St. Ignatius, there's a swampy area there. There's a kind of it used to be an area where there was just a small area with trees in it, and I think most of those trees in there were cottonwood. And a couple of people came over through there and seen a large herd of elk, and went back down to the main camp and informed everyone of the elk that they seen there. So they came back and got prepared, and they surrounded this area, and that's where they killed a lot of the elk and got a lot of food at that time. So they called it Sin-Yedlman. Well, I guess one of the places now that we call is further, where the town itself is what we call Sin-Yedlman. My understanding is prior to Sin-Yedlman, which means near the place of a surrounding. The original name, someone once said, was Sin-Yedlman, a place that was surrounded, Sin-Yedlman. But now we call it Sin-Yedlman, referring to, I guess, to the St. Ignatius, which is in proximity of the actual area. The other one is, other place name I want to share with you today is Quatlintzamep. Quatlintzamep is what we call Post Creek. Post Creek, where there's a certain formation down there by Post Creek. I believe it's on the east side of the highway now, where the bridge crosses the Post Creek. There was a place where it was a clearing as the water came through, and there was a clearing, and then it went back. It was like the trees were around it, and then the creek came through it, and that's what they call, like it was a door at the other end. So that's what they call Quatlintzamep. Those are the two words, place names that we have today. So remember to keep those in mind, and I'll be back to remind you those place names again. A couple of things that I want to relay to you that has happened recently is last Wednesday there was what we call there was honoring the earth, and there was a vote rally, registration rally down at the Arlie celebration grounds, and it was I understand it was pretty successful. I was down there. I seen a lot of people. They registered over 200 new voters at Arlie, and there were an estimated of some say over 500, others say over 600 people that participated in this rally. So I'm glad that people are going out and starting to take voting very seriously, and don't forget to vote on November the 7th. As time goes on in our history, we have to learn different ways in defending our culture, our values as Indian people. And voting is one of the ways that we can do it today. Voting for those people that understand the different cultures, the different nationalities, and different values of different people. So please make sure you get out and vote next election on November the 7th. Also coming up soon, October 20th and 21st will be the reservation-wide championship war dances, which will be at the community center. Again, that's October the 20th and 21st at the community center. So dust off your feathers and get ready. This is probably one of the getting towards the end of the last war dances that you have an opportunity to participate until next year. Also, I read an article where the Two Eagle River students here in San Pablo were, through a class of theirs, were trying to find ways that there's an effort by the students and what can be done to save the turtles that are being slaughtered on the highway in the pothole area around just north of what is now Nine Pipes. As we all know, those of us that drive the highway through this area, we see a lot of turtles being killed. And I want to commend the Two Eagle River students for their efforts in trying to find ways and what can be done to save the turtles. Also, I was informed, or read an article somewhere where that traditional games, if you have any information on traditional games that you want to share, whether it's information on the games itself or whether you have any input or ideas or suggestions on the traditional games, be sure to offer them and share them with the International Traditional Games people, and you can mail your information or whatever you want to share to the International Traditional Games Post Office Box 412, Plains, Montana, zip code 59859. So if you have any information that you'd like to share with these people, please mail your information there. The culture committees, I got word here from a person in Helena that informed me that the culture committees and the elders committee were going to be honored this Friday, the 13th, at the 27th annual history conference in West Yellowstone. The culture committees and the elders are going to be recognized for their efforts and the work that they have done to preserve and perpetuate the culture of the Salish people. So it's quite an honor for us as a tribe, a tribal program who has for the past 25 years worked exactly to preserve and protect our culture, and being recognized makes me feel good knowing that the efforts of the culture committees and the elders have not gone unnoticed. We have helped many other tribes in the past to establish their own culture program. So it is an honor for the elders, and I'm glad that they're going to be recognized. Also, this coming Wednesday, which is tomorrow, the Wednesday the 11th, we are having our first cultural workshop for the year. It will be from 9 to 3 at the Longhouse. If everything is going okay, it will be 9 to 3 tomorrow the 11th, a cultural workshop, and we will run this every second Wednesday until June. End of June is when we usually quit. Also, there are language classes that we're going to continue to do, and Shirley Trahan has agreed and is helping us out at the Culture Committee to have her language classes every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30 at the Longhouse. And this is for beginners, intermediate, experts, anybody that wants to learn more about the language. That's every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. If you have any if you have any questions, feel call the Longhouse at 745-4572. And with that, as I said, we wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess, this time of the year, the changing of the seasons. We're getting into the fall season now. A long time ago, our ancestors at this time would be getting back from east of the mountains from their buffalo hunts and getting ready for the winter months. So during the fall months, they would, after spending the summer and early fall hunting, fishing, gathering berries, gathering medicine, and a lot of those things come to another cycle of their lives, and which is fall. And as they returned from camping and hunting in east of the mountains, they would then get ready to start constructing some of the things that they needed for the winter, their clothing, teepees, whatever they needed. And also at the time, they would continue to hunt. They would continue to go and gather and get the food that they needed to survive through the winter. And the older people, a lot of the older people would go fishing. They would take care of the fishing part of this time of the year. In the past, as I said, the elders and the ancestors who hunted, and it was always with great respect that they treated the animals, and those values that have helped them throughout the years, because they looked at the animals as an equal, as something that was necessary to help them. They needed to treat the animals with respect. And as we get into the newer times, we continue to hold those values. Today, we continue to try to teach our young people the respect of hunting, how you hunt, how you do things, and there are certain ways that you handle animals when you hunt, after you kill the animal, how it's treated, how it's prepared. So those kinds of things I'm hoping you'll learn from the elders at the cultural workshops. So I hope that if you have some free time and you're not busy, please come on down to the Longhouse. There were many animals that people hunt and ate in the past, and a lot of people continue to do that. And I hope that those values that were passed down from our ancestors of the earlier times, I hope you continue to hold on to them. I hope that you remember that they're part of us, and you need to respect that without those animals, without those things, we would not have survived. And I hope that even though today a lot of us probably hunt for, because it's something that we want to do, there are other people that hunt for the sport, hunt for, just for the fun of it. And remember to treat it with respect regardless of how you hunt and what you're hunting for, because it's these animals that have sustained us and brought us to where we're at today. And I would like to again encourage you to come to our workshops. Next week, or at our next show, I'm hoping to bring a little bit more about hunting. I want to talk about hunting in the Swan, and I hope that we'll be able to bring you a story of some things that happened and that went wrong while people were hunting in that area, and that is the Yellow Mountain, John Peter Paul's family. And we want to talk to John first to make sure he's satisfied and he's okay with things that we're going to share. So it has a personal effect on John because his mother was there when these things happened. So I hope that we can bring you a little bit of that next week. So with that, I would like to take a short break here, and we'll be right back.
Over the years, our people have lived through smallpox, assimilation, and starvation. We've battled alcohol, drugs, and poverty. Now it's HIV/AIDS. Help stop the spread of HIV/AIDS in Indian communities. Educate yourself and your loved ones before it's too late. This is real life. It has real consequences.
Okay, welcome back. Remember the words, the place names, Sinyelman and Kwatlintzamep, which you'll hear it shortened now, but it's Kwatlintzamep. A lot of people will say Kwatlintzameh. So those are the two place names, Sinyelman, which is St. Ignatius, Kwatlintzamep, which is Post Creek. As I was mentioning and talking about hunting, the respect, the values that we should retain, that our parents and grandparents and ancestors gave us as something that we need to understand, something that we need to realize again, that the importance of animals, that role they played in our lives and our ancestors' lives. They continue to play those roles today. As this time of the year, families still continue to hunt in their areas, family areas where families usually go every fall. They continue to go to these areas. Used to go down along the Flathead River, north of what is Sloan's Bridge now, in those areas, and all the way down from just south of Dixon, on the south side of Ferry Basin Lookout, all the way up to the Horseshoe Bend. It was all in that area was my family's area that liked to hunt and camp in those areas every fall. We'd go up there for 2-3 months every year. And like I said before, those other families would be there. Sometimes there'd be 7-8 camps along the river and hunting for our meat supply. In earlier times, the people would go east of the mountains in the Swan Valley and west to the Little Thompson River. All of those areas are areas that families would move to and spend the late fall months to hunt and get their supply of meat and get ready for the winter. In the earlier times when they got back from the buffalo hunts and they started hunting around here, there was a role that everybody had within the camp or within the tribe, and those roles were very important. The kids had roles of gathering wood and helping around camp, getting that prepared, and a lot of the other people that didn't go hunt would go fishing and getting their supply of fish, getting it ready. They would get, as I said, they would get ready to prepare for the winter months. And as we get into the winter season, the roles and the different activities change, and it becomes more because of the snow and because of the weather. A lot of times the people that were able to trap would trap, but we'll cover that later on this year. But hunting, I guess, as I said earlier, regardless whether it's a sport to you, or whether you just enjoy hunting, or whether it's hunting for survival, you need to remember to respect the animal. You need to care for it properly when you gut it out, when you skin it. You always remember to give thanks to the Creator for giving you such a beautiful gift, a beautiful animal to survive on. And that's just part of the chain, a life chain that I talk about over and over again, that all animals, all insects and whatever have a role. They play an important role. Sometimes we don't recognize or don't understand the role that they play in the chain, but they do have a role. And it's because of the role that each one of these animals, birds, insects that play, that have created and cared for our environment. And over the years we have destroyed some of the insects, we have destroyed some of the animals, and therefore we have destroyed a lot of our environment. And I think we need to start remembering and looking towards the future, for the future generations, our children and grandchildren. Those are the ones that are going to benefit from what we do today. So as we go on, I hope that you remember this, that the values of the things that are around us, even if we don't understand what role these certain insects, plants, animals play, we must understand that there is a specific reason for that there. And if we destroy one, if we show disrespect for one, it will come back on us. And we see that today. We look at the pollution of our water. We look at the pollution of our air. We look at the destruction of our environment, of our land. We look at those things, all of those things that play an important role. We have set aside and kind of just looked for our own greed, for our own need, that we have managed to destroy so much of our forests. We have managed to destroy some of our animals, our endangered species. We have animals that are gone, that we'll never get back. We have forests, excuse me, we have forests that play important roles in our watershed, in our keeping our air clean. And we have to look beyond, I guess, what our needs are, and start thinking about how long can we preserve what we have left before everything is destroyed. In our creation stories, it's like, as I mentioned before, it's like, I guess, compared to the Bible. You know, we say the time will come when I will come to judge the living and the dead, and we have our stories, our creation stories are very, very similar, only they're a lot older. And those creation stories said that if we don't take care of our environment, if we don't take care of our plants, of our ancestors' way of life, their values, then that will be the end. The coyote and the animal people that went through here prior to humans arriving and living here, the animals went through here and prepared this land for us. Took all the evil and the bad things out and prepared it and made it safe, gave us the food, gave us everything. But when we start doing destructive things, the elders say that coyote and the animal people will come back through here and they will take everything away from us, and that will be the end. We have to start believing and respecting those values that were given to us. And as I said earlier, I'm hoping some of these things will go into a little more detail when we have our cultural workshops. I'm hoping that the elders will start getting into some of the things that not only why we shouldn't do these things, but how things are done, were done, and should be done. There's a lot of times that a lot of our children don't have that opportunity as the same opportunity that we had. We grew up with our language, with our culture, and with our values. A lot of our children today, for whatever reason, never had that opportunity. And we as adults need to give that opportunity back to our children so that they understand their environment, they understand the values of who we are as Salish Kootenai people. And with that, I would like to thank you for joining us again here at Indian Time. Next week, I'm hoping to bring the story of the Swan Massacre. And that ties in with the season, with the hunting, and I hope you join us again. Remember the two place name words, Sinyelman and Kulintsame. And with that, I would like to thank you again for joining me and say Khest Khalhat Besia Pisan Kuskeli Kme Iphes Yetlwa Kme Iphes Mtlunek Etluchtuan and Kuststate Lemlemsh.